Welcome everybody. Today's video finds us over here in the Ayutthaya Historical Park. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that's dedicated to the Kingdom of Ayutthaya. This used to be the capital city over here. And what we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at probably the most beautiful temple in this area, one of the temple ruins. We're going to take a look at Wat Phra Si Sanphet. And it is fantastic. 3 of the Ayutthaya kings, their ashes are in the 3 chetties. And let's walk through here and let's take a look and see what we see. Now, one thing that you want to see before you go into Wat Phra Si Sanphet is this temple right here. This is a restored Ayutthaya temple that used to be right here next to Wat Phra Si Sanphet. This is Phra Mongkon Bopit, and it has a humongous, like 23-meter tall Buddha image. And I've done a couple videos from in there, and we're not going to look at it today. They're regilding the Buddha image, so there's not much to see. It's all covered up. But anyway, I'll post or pin a comment to that temple in this video if you want to see it. Now, this is 50 baht to go in here, or it's part of the 6 temples that you can pay 220 baht to see. And right over here is the ticket window, but we're going to go over and we're going to look at the statue of King U-thong before we go in there. I want to see it before we do this. So here is the ticket window. So you see it's 50 baht for foreigners for a single entry, and then they check their tickets right here. We'll go in there. Let's go over there and let's look at the statue of King U-thong. It's just a little walk away from here, probably about 200 meters or so. They have the little food and drinks and stuff like that. And then this is the old, like what it looked like back before it was destroyed in 1767. So you can see how many buildings there were. There was a lot of buildings, and then it had the 3 chetties, which gives its name, and then it had 3 little halls between them, and then a humongous Wehan over here, and a bunch of smaller little chetties and all kinds of things. So really, really cool. So we're right over here by the, what is this, the east side of Wat Phra Si Sanphet. And what this is this is the right Paisan gate, and this is the gate where the royal family went through. They also took the dead bodies over here through this from the royal palace over to be cremated, which they cremated them back behind. It was kind of the central cremation point. And then right over here is the statue of King U-thong. That's what I wanted to see. He was the first king of Ayutthaya. This is what I wanted to see right here. So this is King U-thong, or Ramathibodi I was his regular name, and he had a humongous name that the Thais would use that was really formal. This little statue was dedicated and opened in like 1970, and this symbolizes King U-thong, who took over the throne of the Ayutthaya era when he was like 36 years old. And it's just right over here. The Thais will come over here and they will leave like flowers, and they'll pray and stuff like that to him. And this is right over by where the royal palace was. The royal palace was right here to the north of Wat Phra Si Sanphet. And let's go into here if we can, and we'll go into the other side over. You can see how massive this site is. There's the 3 chetties in the middle, and then you have all these halls all around and the smaller chetties, and then the outer wall, and this would have been the royal palace over here. Wat Phra Si Sanphet was the royal temple, so the royals would have just walked from the royal palace into Wat Phra Si Sanphet. And there was another temple over to the west, Wat Tamarit, that has a humongous reclining Buddha that's quite cool, that they could have went over to it also. Really a nice area. So all of this over here was the royal palace. This was all burned and destroyed in 1767 when the Burmese captured the city. They set cannons up on the other side of the Lopburi River, and then they fired into the royal palace. And almost everything was made out of wood, so it just burned right up. And the whole city burned when the Burmese captured it, when they finally breached the walls. It was like April 10th or April 11th of 1767, somewhere in there. Can't remember the exact date offhand. So yeah, you can walk through here. If you go through Wat Phra Si Sanphet, you can go back and explore the royal palace. And that's what kind of inspired me for this video. Is I went over here to find the royal palace, and because somebody told me, one of my viewers told me you could come through here. So I was like, I haven't been to Wat Si Sanphet in a couple years, so anyway, I'll fix that today. And we're all in luck. Oh, what a fantastic ruin this is. So the royals would have came right here through this gate into Wat Si Sanphet. Now what I will do here after we walk through here is I'll find a spot and I'll fly the drone over that. That was one other thing I really wanted to do today, was to check this out from the air so you can really appreciate how massive this site is. So there were chetties all around here, small little wihans and shrines and all of the normal stuff. And then the focus would have been the 3 chetties. You can see they came back and they restored these. All of this was abandoned. It was all the wood burned up during the fall, and then the temple was abandoned. The Burmese came in here and took anything pretty much of value. They took all the gold and everything else. You can see some of the little buildings here. This would have been kind of interesting. I'm not sure what would have been on the inside of this. You can see the columns here. I don't know if that was some kind of chetty or if they had like 4 images around in the cardinal directions of that little building. It's kind of cool. And then we have a Sri Lankan style chetty, and then we have more of these. And this is early Ayutthaya styling here. You can see the little slits in the windows or in the walls. They call those like the colonnettes, and it gave like a breezeway as well as like natural lighting, and they're not very big. Yeah, and then you could see how the styling was on the bottom. And then they would have had these like faux columns on the outside that would have went up to the roof. And then this would have been what you see here. One of the 2 chetties, the second one, and the third one over there. There is a walkway here. This would have been the gallery here. So there would have been Buddha images all through here. And they call it the cloister. And you would have walked around these 3 chetties. And it's pretty common, like the ceremony they do is they go around them 3 times. You can see that these kind of resemble the chetties at Nakhon Si Thammarat at that first-class royal temple down there. It's kind of a Sri Lankan, and then it has the little prong up at the top. And then this is way cool. It has those rings right there, and then it has the little, like the stairs that lead into like a little alcove that they would have probably had an image. And all these Buddhas here on the cloister are all down to their, just broken up and not much left of them. You can see the conditions. So they have the top of one of the chetties here. You can see how they did the brickwork to build those. And then the spire and everything is missing off that one. The same, they're just all in various states of disrepair. And it's pretty nice. They have these trees here so you can walk around and kind of stay a little cooler. And you see another little building over there, has those little window slits. And this one would have been really similar. Yeah, really, really cool. And then there's buildings all out there. And we'll go up here, we'll check out this partial Buddha right here. And then we'll go around towards the front. So what we have here on the ground are parts of this Buddha. You can see like the fingers and other parts. And then this was the massive seated image right here. So it had a brick core, and then it would have had the plaster over the top of it. So these are the crossed legs, and you see his hand would have came down and been right here on his lap, and then all the rest of it is missing. And it was in kind of a small, I mean, this would have taken up this entire little wehan right here. And then you could see they would have had huge columns, and then they would have had something right here in the middle as well. And this would have been, looks like shaped like a crucifix with the buildings over there also. And then this would have been one of the outer walls. Yeah, really a fantastic site. It's such a shame that all of this stuff burned. There was a few sketches of them, but there was not a lot to show the grandeur of this place right here. Ayutthaya was just, I think, an amazing city. There were, I think, at one time over 1 million people here in this city. And the kingdom went from 1350, from when U-thong that we looked at, until 1767. And I think there were a total of 33 kings, different dynasties. There was a lot of coups and stuff like that. Just the normal things that history is full of, with people that want to be kings and the family infighting and everything else. And this is a nice look at that Phra Mongkol Bo Pit. Yeah, they built that building right there to house this humongous seated Buddha image that was moved a couple different times. It was originally over here at Wat Si Sanphet, and then they moved it over by the cremation site, and then they built that Wihan to house it. That is an active temple, but they don't allow monks to stay in residence there. So all the monks just come in like for the day when they're doing ceremonies and stuff like that. What a fantastic site this is. And this is right over by the front gate. This is the center one, and then this is the eastern one. And then you can see the little building over here. So we'll walk around, we'll look at a couple more of these buildings, and then I'll go over there, probably into where like the royal palace is, and try to fly the drone around a bit. You can see how this little building is collapsed down. They haven't done much with it. Yeah, the Ayutthaya kind of just restores them just a little bit. They don't really go and restore them completely. The only thing you'll really see like this Phra Mongkol Bo Pit has been completely restored. But most of it, they just put the bricks and a little bit of plaster so you can kind of see what it looked like when it was in use. And this is what's left of one of those 3 little Wihans that were between the chetties and the bases over there. And what I want to look at is right over here. We'll look at a couple of these little buildings, and that'll be the last of what we look at. You can see the stairwell that would have taken you up there. Just the bases, some little Buddhas, some of the columns. Just kind of the guts of what used to be a fantastic temple. And you can see that was quite tall. And then all the other little bases and stuff like that. This would have been kind of a maze to wind, kind of wind around through all of these buildings. There were so many of them. And you can see the styling here, some more of those colonnettes. And they had some little windows on the bottom there, which is kind of interesting. And there's signs up saying don't even take one little brick from here. Leave it just like it is. You can see how thick the plaster was. So they did the course of bricks, they carved them, and then they put that plaster over the top. There's 3 inches of the plaster, and then you could see how those went up to like the flower up there at the top of the columns. And I don't know if you can see it, there's another prong sticking way over there. That's Wat Phra Ram is what that is, which is another cool site. So they use laterite stones here also. You see these, they probably scavenged them from some other temples. And you can see some more of the walls over here. Yeah, what a massive site this is. And then over here, this is an old ordination hall. You see those Buasima stones. And back in these days, they used 2 of them. They put 2 of them out here. And I think that might have came from like Sukhothai influence. Ayutthaya went up and conquered Sukhothai and kind of incorporated them into the kingdom. I think they did that in the 1400s sometime. I can't remember exactly when it was. But they made all the people move down here and abandon the city up there. You can see how this building looks also. Yeah, really fantastic. And then a Sri Lankan style chetty, and then some more of that. Okay, this is the last building we're going to look at. This is the Chom Tong Throne Hall. And they believe this is where the king personally would come over here and sit and listen to the sermons. And they think it was built maybe under the reign of King Song Tam, but some of the styling point to late Ayutthaya with the way the windows and stuff are designed. So this might have been restored at a later date, or they might be just wrong about when it was first constructed. So you can see these are the octagon columns, and they would have went up to the little flower. Would have had the red teakwood ceiling, the normal stuff that you see. And then there would have been a Buddha image over here. And then they have the little gallery. And the monks might have sat right here also. You can see parts of the Buddha images. And that looks like a Sema stone. I don't know where they moved that in. And then a second little room back over here. This building here is in great shape as far as things go. And it would have had a small principal image right there. And then the windows would have let all the light in and stuff like that. One last look here. So there's that throne hall. And here's that Wehan that we walked through. Now there's a sign over there that said there used to be a 16-meter tall standing image that was burned during the fall of Ayutthaya. And it just left the bronze core, and that's now at Wat Po. Well, I didn't know that before. And then all the other buildings. Then we have this little ordination hall. Yeah, you can wander around here and spend a couple hours, look at all the little details, and then the 3 prongs over there. That'll finish up our video over here at this amazing Wat Si Sanphet. This is definitely a must-see if you're over here. There's this one, Wat Maha Tat, Wat Chai Watanaram, Wat Mayong, Wat Pra Ram, and Wat Ratchaburna. Those are the 6 pay sites in the historical park. And if you get a chance, go to all 6. I've been to all 6 of them many times, and I really enjoy it. There's other temples that are also worth your time, but these are kind of the highlights of the area. And definitely check out the Phra Mongkol before you come in here, and just go back to the Royal Palace, see everything that you can, and have a good time. Drink lots of water, and allow more time than you think. Don't plan on being over here just for 15 minutes. It's too massive. You got to spend a lot more time. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. I'll fly the drone around so you can see it that way if possible. And then if you like the drone footage, let me know in a comment down below, or if you have any questions or anything about it, ask me. And if you know more about it, tell me. Also, I sometimes forget to say little details that I know. So if you know more, leave it down below so people can learn also as well as me. And subscribe and all that stuff if you're new to the channel. And until next time, from over here in Ayutthaya, remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.